Hello, Tamily. It is time for our 112th interview with Jessica. Her Instagram name is Tam Life, so make sure that you're following her if you're not already. And we will get connected in just a moment. Of course, we have questions planned for Jessica, but any questions that you'd like to ask in the chat, we will definitely scroll through those during the interview, and we should be connecting in just a moment. Hello.
Hi. Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for being our 112th interview.
Well, thank you. It's really an honor to be here.
Well, Jessica, we appreciate you giving us some time to get to know you today. We would like to jump right in and ask one of our favorite questions, which is when and how did you get involved with the Tracy Anderson Method?
Yeah, so I heard about the method through Tracy Ellis Ross through her Instagram in 2014, actually. And I was really curious, like, what is this? What is she doing? And then I kind of clicked onto Tracy's page. And at that time, it was really just in the studio. So I was like, I kind of missed a lot. I was like, what is this? There must be more to this. Because then I found the online, the DVD, The Metamorphosis. And then I was still like, I think I'm missing something. And so I kept, digging deeper. And then I found the online studio. And right away I was totally hooked. And so that's kind of how through Tracy Anderson Ross on Instagram.
What was it about the Tracy Anderson Method that kind of attracted you versus other fitness methods?
Yeah. Well, at that time, I was really into, like I went to the gym and I was doing spinning and I kind of, and pump, these really like Les Mills classes. And at some point I got really tired of being yelled at, actually. I realized that stress of that input of like constantly being told how to move and when to move, and then just also the just the volume and the aggressiveness of the voices really I was really relieved when I discovered the method, because I felt immediately that I was talking to myself. And then also at the time I traveled all the time, and I needed something that I could just, I mean, minus the extra luggage weight of carrying my weights all around the world. But yeah, so that's kind of what initially drew me to just a sort of gentler, being a bit more gentle, but also seeing results. And that's kind of what.
Yeah, like kind of being more self-directed, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think that's something that sometimes people don't realize, the immense benefit of that part of Tracy.
Yeah.
So what kind of results have you seen, like both physically and non-physically?
Yeah. Well, I've had 2 kids since I started. I did the pregnancy project. It didn't really serve me for some reason, the pregnancy project. It just, with my first and my second. But what I think what it did for me was enabled me to birth naturally, actually. It gave me like the strength, and also the mind. I don't want to say discipline's a bit too hard, but just sort of being able to really know that I could push myself and be gentle. And that's kind of what I needed in birthing. And so I think that, and also it's a sort of it's a therapy for me. I know we all say that, you know, and it's an incredible, unexpected addition to this method, but it's actually the reason why I do it is because it makes me happy. And it has a ripple effect into my family and my community. And so that's the mental part of it is a huge benefit for it. And I've seen great results from that.
It's so interesting that that's like almost always the reason why people are doing Tracy.
Yeah.
But no one ever is like, I've heard great mental benefits, so I'm going to start this method.
Yeah. And I also feel like when people ask me about what I do for my workout, I'm always a bit hesitant to like say it's Tracy Anderson Method, because when you Google Tracy Anderson, it's what you get is not really what it is. I feel like there's a bit of a disconnect between like I don't know, that whole mind aspect, that whole mental health aspect. You don't really see it when you're, I think if you're looking for a new workout routine, you don't get that somehow.
Yeah, you know, I almost wonder sometimes if it's like, you know, the media or society or something open to that being a reason to work out. Like, you have to want to work out for the perfect butt.
Yeah.
Or why are you working out?
Yeah. Right now I'm doing I just signed up for a custom program. And to answer also the result question, I've only done it twice so far, but I do the results of my conversation that I have to have with myself. Only now, after all these years, do I really see, oh, this is the conversation. It's much more alive now.
Okay.
More directed and have,
Well, that's so interesting because, I mean, you know, we have a ton of options with Tracy, but even now, like the lives and thinking about doing the virtual customs and stuff, it really, I mean, it's like endless options.
Yeah.
So even though you've only done 2 with the custom, is that something you definitely would recommend?
Yeah, I would. It's expensive, I have to say, but there's a lot of value in it. And if you, I think that all streamers should do at least one, because there's a lot of things that you miss, that you have to really watch the breakdowns. And I think if you're not totally dedicated to watching the breakdowns, like me, I must admit, I'm not always watching them. Having like even just one session where they just go over even that week's content with you, I think that that's really useful, because then they can really explain, okay, your leg actually needs to be here, or you know, you need to push from here. Yeah,
that's a good point, because I mean, even just like going from not having mirrors to having mirrors and realizing like you think your leg is in a different place than it really is, like, you know, having a trainer tell you, that's a good point, definitely. So who in the Tamily inspires you?
I was hoping you'd ask me that. I have a whole A4. So I'm in this amazing WhatsApp group, and I mean, there's like just amazing leadership in our community. And we have Jennifer Kane Berkmos and Claire and Sigrid, Adita, Lauren, Elena, and they're kind of, I'm probably missing someone, but they're the ones who are like organizing these Zooms. And it's just this amazing dedication of like also committing to yourself, like, okay, now I have to show up at 7 a.m. because there's, you know, a group of people waiting. And I really admire that. And then I wrote all their Instagram handles down. Maybe I can give that to you after also.
And we can post, or you can say them now.
Okay. Yeah, and then there's Charlotte, which is Happy Lot 90. And Miriam, I think everybody knows Miriam, which is Tamily. and Christina, who's Schulze_Tam, and Hannah_Tamily. And these women are I'm sure I'm missing someone, but these women are like the sort of goddesses of Spotify, and they're so committed to like weekly making these playlists, but then also sharing them with us, which is so special, and it's time consuming. And then also I have on my list Peta O'Brien. I feel like her stories is just incredible, and she shares so beautifully and openly with us. And there's two women, the last two I want to mention, who make me laugh, which is Kat Fufu. She's amazing. She's really funny and witty, but she's also like really nailed the method, I feel like. So and Diana Stika, who does these weekly reviews, which could be in the New Yorker. I think she's like a fantastic writer. So yeah.
Well, that is definitely a great list. Those are super inspiring members of the Tamily, for sure. I mean, Kat Fufu is like my source of humor. And the only way that I really know anything about what TikTok is, but she must be finding the funniest videos.
I also feel like I don't even need to go on TikTok because she's edited exactly what I would want to look at anyway.
So funny. Oh my gosh, they're so hilarious.
Yeah.
So besides the motivation of the Tamily, how do you stay motivated to work out on a regular basis?
Well, I'm at the point now where I don't know, I think Tracy used the word of like fully integrated. I it's just I don't really think about not working out. I've had a long history of like body image issues and trying, really in a lot of ways to love myself more. And I have to admit that like the thought and the sort of dwell that I typically put on not working out, like if I don't work out, how hard I am on myself about that is much more difficult than just doing the workout,
Yeah.
And so it just I just can't really function as a great mother, in my day-to-day life. I need it, and it's like I wouldn't not eat, or I would not drink water for a day.
Right. So, right, absolutely. Yeah. It's a necessity for you.
It's a necessity. Yeah.
How long do you think it was until you felt like it was like that?
Oh, quite recently. I would say since March.
Okay.
To be honest, like I would take, even though I've been doing this for quite a while, like I would take a week, or, I would just do something else, or do, I would just, do it halfway, or, but I think really since this COVID stuff, it's really made me sort of catapulted me into dedicating a lot of myself into it. And I realized also how much I need it. I think I always needed it, but I didn't know it. And
yeah, definitely. This time makes it so much more apparent.
Yeah. And Jennifer, at some point in one of our conversations, or recently, she posted that it's, Tracy did say a few months ago, like, when we're working out 7 days a week, like it doesn't have to be attained 7 days a week, it's just moving every day. Yeah, exactly. That makes it easier to exercise every day,
especially with, what are there, like 100 cardio options? Or plus every level, plus multitask, plus content, like
there's so much.
And really, even if you just do the arms, like it's always something. There's so many choices.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have any workout partners?
I have tried so hard to recruit friends and family members, and I've always felt like a lonely Tracy Anderson girl until I found the WhatsApp group.
Mhm.
So yeah, now I think there's like 50 of us in the group, and I usually work out at one time slot, and there's a bunch of us, usually 5 or 6 of us that hop on, and but yeah, and then my kids show up, and sometimes my husband does it, but yeah.
It's good, even if you can get a husband to try it one time. That's
Yeah. He wants to listen to the news while he's doing it, and I can't explain to him like why that seems totally counter everything, but I just let him do it.
Especially in 2020.
I know, I'm like, really? This is depressing.
Oh my goodness. Have you ever met Tracy in person?
No, I haven't. No.
Okay.
I signed up for a Vitality Week 2 years ago, and then one of my kids got sick and I couldn't go. Yeah, it was a real pity. But so I still have that in my mind. I would love to do that whenever this goes back to normal.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a dream for every family member, but
yeah.
it's actually pretty cool that it is possible. I mean,
Yeah.
especially when we're out of these times.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get back to something similar to what we used to do. But I mean, there's not very many famous trainers that you could actually spend a few days with.
No, I know. Yeah.
Have you ever been to a studio?
I have. Yeah, I went a few times in New York City.
Okay.
I forget the name of the street. I'm terrible, but yeah, I went a few times. Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, and it was I know it was so hot, and I was like, wow, yeah, this is right.
Yeah. I don't think there's any real preparation for understanding how hot the studio is.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That is the biggest part.
Yeah.
Well, we do have at least one question in the chat. So
it was my birthday.
Yes. Did you have a birthday recently, Jessica?
I did, yeah. And so did Connie. We're like, I think a day apart or 2 days apart, yeah. Awesome. Happy birthday.
Well, we hope you had a great birthday.
Thanks.
And of course, if anybody else has questions, you can type those into the chat too. But we also wanted to ask you, Jessica, what would be your advice to someone that's new to the method or new to the Tamily?
Yeah, I think one thing to keep in mind is that there's no dread factor. There's no, in this type of movement, it's so nurturing, and you see people jogging, and I think Connie mentioned this once, like you're looking at someone, you're like, why are you jogging? It looks so uncomfortable, or something where you're pounding and pounding, and this just feels so open and so natural, that there's not the feeling of like dreading your workout, like, oh, I have to work out now, like I have to do this. And I think that's and I think there's also a certain authenticity to Tracy and her message, and she's very real. And I mean, of course, she's a brand and she sells a product, but she delivers with a lot of heart and a lot of authenticity, and I trust her for that. And I think that's something that, for new people to the method, to really listen to what she says, listen to the lectures at the end, and yeah, she, there's no shortcut, actually. As she says, like, you have to work out, that's it. You have to move your body.
Yeah.
And this just feels like a really great way to do it.
Yeah, and she seems so rare in saying that you should work out every day for the rest of
Mm-hmm.
your life. Well, people say like just 15 minutes 3 times a week.
Yeah. No.
How does that
Yeah.
work for anyone?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We have another question in the chat from Fit Mama Jama. She said, "Where do you live? You have a few posts with such beautiful backgrounds."
Oh yeah. So I live in the Netherlands, but my partner is he works a lot within architecture. He's a photographer, so we get these amazing opportunities to travel and see, like yeah, sort of the best of contemporary architecture or modern architecture. And so I've done also my workouts in a lot of these with a lot of these backdrops, but I just started posting my workouts very recently.
Mm-hmm.
I was always like, oh, I can't ever post my workout. And then I posted, I was like, this is great, actually. You know, everybody's so supportive, and the more you post, the more yeah, it's like a sort of reciprocal community. Mm-hmm. I think Sigrid said that a few weeks ago. Like it's a very circular, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think it's, you know, I mean, I'm sure posting is not for everyone, but when you kind of make that leap or whatever
Mm-hmm.
you might say, like it's not exactly, you know, what you might expect. There's like not a negative result from it.
No.
No.
And I mean, I would not, if I have two accounts. I have this Tamily account, and then I have like one for my family, my normal life. Mm-hmm. And I have a few times I've like accidentally uploaded something from my Tam life page to the other one. I'm like, oh no, you know, what I share here is so, it feels so safe, even more so than if I were to, like, I would never post a picture of me in a little top, you know, with my leg in the air. Would never do that normally.
But that's totally normal for the Tamily.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
It really is. Yeah. My breezy summer would like to know, what do you do for a living?
Well, I'm a writer, and I'm right now mostly with my kids, but I write mostly about design and yeah. Previously, I was working in branding and marketing, and I write a lot about my partner's photography.
Oh, cool! Very cool. What is something that you have learned from Tracy?
Well, I think that there's a lot, but what comes to mind first is her acceptance of, this is very specific, but her acceptance of her not just acceptance, but her like how calm she is when Penny is there. Mm-hmm. You know, like she's able to record a workout with her daughter dancing like crazy in the background, or jumping on her, or the dog coming in, you know. And that for me is so opening my mind, because like I'm just doing the workout, but I get so like tight around when my kids come in. I'm like, this is my time, I can't focus, I can't, you know. Mm-hmm. So just seeing how flexible she is with embracing things that come up, and like I think the way she is with that has also, I've also learned from her like how quickly we can adapt. Like her, you know, her studio never, from what I can see, it never skipped a beat. Like 1 week we were looking at her in the studio, the next week she's in this like goop thing, and the next time she's got like a full on stage, you know. Mm-hmm. So just I mean, I can't say I've learned something from her because I don't know her, but learning from her what she projects to us. It's just this sort of flexibility, adaptability, and then there's just so much, like, there's just so much. I could have a whole conversation about what I've learned from the method. Yeah.
Have you faced any challenges in doing the method?
Mm-hmm. yeah, recently with these this private these private classes that I'm starting to do. After the first one, I was like, this is crazy. Like, this is not for me anymore. I wanted to give up. I really started thinking, okay, maybe I can do bar or something else. And because it was so hard, and I felt like I realized I've been doing a lot wrong, actually. And, you know, but then I started to hear her voice, like, what do you do when you're faced with a difficult move? Do you know, where are you, what conversation? And then I was like, oh, that's the conversation. I'm actually now having that conversation. And so this, yeah, this custom program is, of course, they're like targeting we're trying to build where I'm weaker. So that's already like, you know, we're digging into spots that are sleepy. But yeah, it's definitely been a challenge, and I do feel like I have to build myself up a bit, because I was kind of coasting, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, and now I'm like looking at myself like, all right, let's do you really want to go there, you know?
Yeah, that's an interesting thing to point out, because, you know, especially with the amount of options that we have, we can pick an option that's coasting.
Yeah.
Or we can do a custom and learn how high our leg is.
Yeah, but I mean, when I say it was coasting, it was I was only coasting because I was doing it wrong. Like, there's no way I would be coasting through Attain or even Fundamental if I were doing it really right. Like, I was just not doing it properly, I think.
Okay. That's a good point. That really makes me think we all need to be doing custom. What would be your advice to someone who is not feeling motivated to work out?
Okay, I love that question, and it's not my advice, but it's something Tracy said, and it's a bit long. I mean, it's not that long, but can I read it?
Absolutely.
Okay, it's something that she posted at the beginning of the coronavirus.
Okay.
And I think that this is a really good message for all of us who are, you know, integrated into the method. And she says, know that the work we do together redeploys immune cells to peripheral tissues to conduct immune surveillance, flushes bacteria out of the lungs and airways, creating antibodies that protect your health like a beautiful shield of resistance that you invest in for yourself. So whether you've been on a journey with me for years or starting at home today, this is not the time to snooze and lose, but rather the time for us to move together and stay strong. I think that, you know, and the other day I had it was really hard Attain, and I was getting sick. I mean, not really sick, just, you know, normal cold. And I had the heat on, the humidity on, and I really gave it my all. And I walked away. I wasn't sick. I didn't get sick. Yeah. Wow. I think it's gotta be this work that we're doing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, especially because, you know, exercise is so important to your well-being, but especially this kind of exercise.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No.
And, you know, especially if you're doing it daily, that makes a huge difference too.
Yeah. And also this idea of like, you know, you should take any kind of, if you're on medicine, like you should take it every day, because then your body gets used to. And I maybe remember Tracy talked about, like, if you work out at 7 o'clock every day, by 10 o'clock, you're feeling that like high, and that high should take you kind of all the way up until 7 o'clock the next day. So it's this amazing cycle. If you don't get out of it, if you don't, remove yourself from it, then that's why you're happy all the time. You know, that's why it's like, it's a chemical reaction. It's not rocket science. Well, it's science, but not rocket science.
Right. It's not complicated.
It's not complicated. Yeah.
Now this question I want to ask, but I know we're not really traveling right now. But when we do in the future, do you have any tips about Tam while traveling?
Oh, you know, I tried everything. Like, well, my husband tried to convince me to try everything. Like, why don't you use just water bottles, or why don't you buy these weights that you can fill up with water? I mean, it doesn't work. You know, when I'm traveling, you know, and and my bag is full and it's overweight, I honestly put those weights in my backpack or my purse, and I just do it. I just bring it. And you know, if you don't want your luggage to be overweight, just take out something else. You know, it's important that you bring those weights with you, you know. I do have the performance program, and on there I don't know, it must be one or two programs without equipment. It's super hard, but if you subscribe to a performance program, you can dig a bit back in. I think it's like the first installment, and it's in there without any weights.
Yeah, that's a good point. But you're totally right. Like, I mean, people always would say, bring your leg weights and use them as hand weights, and I hate that. I just want to use my hand weights.
Yeah.
I've paid many, many overweight fees to American Airlines.
Yeah. Granted, I don't bring the heavy ankle weights.
Yeah.
Unless I'm going on a really long trip, or I'll just, like I can't, but yeah, just bring it.
Yeah. Just do it, and then you can get it done.
Yeah.
What is your favorite thing about the Tracy Anderson Method?
I think it's got to be this I normally do my workouts at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock after I take my son to school. My other kid sleeps, and it's like around noon I get this feeling, and it's like so good. You know, it feels like I've just consumed like pure joy, and my body's tingling, and like I feel my body, and that's the thing I love the best. I love the aftershock.
Right, exactly.
And I love the lectures after class. I love them. I'm always impressed that she has so much to say that's interesting. And I also love, I'm in awe more of how she just creates so much content every week.
It really is amazing.
It's kind of incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, when you think about every level of the class, plus the cardio that, you know, I mean, I know obviously trainers are involved too, but she's doing a lot of that. And then like the bonus content for the centrics, it's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, it really is. And I have to say, I love all of the trainers that we get to see as well. And there's just such a realness to it. You know, it doesn't feel fake. And also everyone is like, you know, every body is different. And, but you know, all of the trainers, they just all look so healthy, you know?
Right.
And not like overly overly developed, or just like beautiful and
and unique.
Exactly, like themselves. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is there any advice that you've received from the Tamily that has been impactful to you?
Well, our WhatsApp group is full of great advice and suggestions and thoughts, and you know, just it's not a very deep thing, but I did just upgrade my heat and humidity based on some fellow Tamily suggestions, and I think it's just this idea of like there's just a lot of sharing and exchanging and chatting. Yeah,
and even if it's something, you know, that seems kind of small, but it makes a difference in your overall workout, like that's amazing. Because it's for your working.
Yeah, when I first joined the group, I'm still really working on my flexibility, but I put that out there to the group and to the Tamily, and they really responded like on tips on how I could lengthen my back and you know, elongate and lengthen my hamstrings, and that was really valuable. And I think about some of the advice that I was given every day.
Well, and that's another thing too that's really amazing about this community, that you know, you have access to people who've done this method for a
Mm-hmm.
decade,
Yeah.
and, you know, we can all build on like everything that everyone knows.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
So what is your routine with the workout? Do you always do attain or ever fundamental or start? How do you fit it into your life?
Yeah. Well, at the moment, I um, I'm in more or less fundamental,
Hmm.
because my custom program has the chair and it's really challenging. So I've been doing that on Saturdays, and so I kind of get the chair there. And
Hmm.
since I really need to go back a bit and master some of the angles.
Hmm.
And fundamentals just been like also really great and challenging for
Yeah.
you know. So I do that, and um, uh, I do like to go back to the performance program a lot. I find that there are some uh, nice older workouts on there,
Hmm.
and I've over the summer I was really addicted to Lashana's 15-minute. She has some amazing 15-minute short dance cardios
Okay.
with really good music. Uh, but yeah, and I try to incorporate more cardio, but I always forget actually. I just forget.
Well, it's hard. I mean, especially if you're doing the 1 hour workout
Yeah,
a day, like
yeah,
then to add it in. But if you just add a few minutes occasionally, it really makes a huge difference.
yeah, yeah.
Especially Lashana. She's one of my favorites.
I mean, she moves so graciously, and
Mhm.
yeah, I love her classes.
Yeah, she is super cool. What do your friends and family think of the Tracy Anderson method?
Well, my mom thinks I should like be the Dutch ambassador for Tracy Anderson. She's like, I think you should work for her. Because I could talk about this for I could talk about this for so long, and I think they're happy for me that I found like a group of people who I can blab on about this with. But they are super supportive. My 5-year-old knows all about Tracy Anderson. Like he's like mocking me all the time, and my partner, he's really supportive. He finds all of these options way too expensive, but he's like, what is this? Uh, um, but yeah, they're really supportive. They know I need it, and
Mhm.
this is I get almost zero time for myself except for this hour, and so yeah, it's it's really they totally get it. Yeah,
That's good. That's
yeah,
usually, you know, what we hear. Like once people see what the results are, even if maybe it's not the workout for them, but they see
yeah,
what it does for you,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
they're usually very supportive.
yeah.
What's something important to you in your life that you would want to share with the family?
Well, I think it's actually I this is a really great question, and I'm not the living example of it, but I just wanted to share it with everyone because it's also going upon that, like uh I'm alone with my kids a lot, and um I think that time for a lot of women, whether you have children or not, or whether you're whatever you're, even if you're a man, like exercise shouldn't be your me time. Like exercise should be the same priority as like eating and sleeping and drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's really important to me right now is trying to carve out more time, like so
Mm-hmm.
that my exercise time isn't a part of that me.
Mm-hmm.
Like that my me time is for, learning, reading, working,
Yeah.
volunteering,
Mm-hmm.
things that are like bigger than myself, and that exercise is just is a basic. And so that's something that's really important to me right now. I don't have that right now, but I'm trying to work towards it. Yeah.
That is definitely like that's such a good point.
Yeah.
But I mean, so many people, it's either like their career and their children, or like has taken up so much time
Yeah.
that they barely can squeeze in the 1 hour
Yeah.
for exercise. But
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
just to read a book, like to, you know, do anything, that's such a good point about, especially it being bigger than us. Like,
Yeah.
very, very important point, especially in 2020.
Yeah. I think what's also important for me is to recognize that um, this conversation that we're having right now is such a luxury. It's such a privilege that we can, in the midst of a global pandemic, in the midst of a racial pandemic, that we can just sit here and talk about our wellness. And I'm hugely grateful for that. That I have that privilege, and I'm well aware that this is real, not the norm.
Right.
We're like a 1%, you know?
Right. That's such a good point. I think someone in the Tamily actually posted something like, you know, if you even have the time or the space in your mind to think about your own well-being, you are in a different plane than most of the world.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
That is a really, really important call out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of a good question after that very deep topic.
What's your favorite pizza topping?
I'm like, the rest of our questions aren't really deep.
Sorry, I should have said that
one. Have you had a takeaway from a prior Ask Tamily interview that you might want to share?
Yes, Courtney. I mean, I loved that episode. Mm-hmm. It was amazing that you had her on here, but it's very practical when she talked about the hydrant and that our knee should be like facing the other wall. Mm-hmm. I forget exactly what she said, but there was a really small thing. And another one was from when you interviewed Tracy Anderson. Mm-hmm. And she talked about like how she's now doing it all. You know, she's washing the dishes, she's making all the food, and how that actually feels really good. Mm-hmm. And I was really impressed by that statement, and I see it a lot in my much smaller scale mm-hmm. that I'm responsible for. But I'm actually really enjoying being stretched out, you know, mm-hmm. to feel like I'm doing everything as best I can, you know, all by myself. I have help, but like, mm-hmm. you know, it's a lot reduced from how it was before. Mm-hmm. And it's better actually to do it yourself. You know, it feels better mm-hmm. to do everything.
That perspective.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Who would you want us to interview on future Ask Tamily interviews? Yeah.
Well, I think anybody from my WhatsApp group, I think it would be great.
Love to see if anyone hasn't been interviewed yet.
Yeah, I don't know who. I'm sure there are a lot have been. Well, there's one really great Tracy Anderson trainer who I think would be a great. Her name is Lara Pitkowski.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll have to ask her.
I hope I pronounced her name right. And she's awesome, and she's really like a very good soul, I would say. Mm-hmm. I think she would be great for your interview. Well,
I hope since we interviewed Courtney that like breaks the seal and we
can
other trainers. But we will definitely try for Laura for sure. How did you first discover the Tamily?
Okay, this is I'm really terrible with hashtags and all these things. So I kept seeing, you know, hashtag Tamily. I think through Lift Nation, Sigrid, mm-hmm. I followed her, and like I would see this like Tamily, and then I would try to find hashtag Tam, and I only would get like some kind of Bollywood Tamily.
Okay.
I could never actually find the right Tamily I was looking for. Or there's a last name of someone, and then yeah, finally I think I wrote to Sigrid or Adita, and then they were like, yeah, come, where there's a whole group of us, and then I found the whole sort of rabbit hole of women like waiting, and it was great. Yeah.
Excellent. What is most important to you to maintain balance in your life?
Yeah. The method. Really. It really is. Yeah. I think also before I did the method, I had an imbalance of my thyroid.
Okay.
And I feel like the method helped me with my my autoimmune function. So not just in like a, simple way to say it keeps me balanced, but I really do think that the method helped me get to where I am in my with my thyroid health. And then yeah, it's just like a beat in my life. It keeps me balanced. Even if I'm flying, I know I have to get my workout in before, because it's going to be stressful with the kids, or when I, it's just it's huge for me.
Yeah, I really wonder how I would have made it, like in adulthood, for real, without it.
Yeah, me too.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
What are you most proud of personally?
Well, that's something I always struggle with. I would normally say like, I don't know, but if I have to answer, yeah, I had two very revealing births with my kids, and I think that process of overcoming fear and moving through pain, or a lot of feeling and healing, and I think that's probably, those two events are probably I'm really proud that I did that. Didn't have to do it like that. Yeah, and I think I've lived on 3 continents, and I think my my tolerance, and I think I'm trying to be accepting, and be anti-racist. Yeah.
What continents have you lived on?
North America. I'm Canadian, and I lived in Hong Kong, and now I'm living in Europe. Yeah.
That's very cool. I love that we interview people all over the world.
Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah.
So exciting. Let me see what else I haven't asked you yet. I was gonna ask, what are you drinking, but I'm not sure that you're drinking anything.
I'm drinking tea.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm drinking iced coffee. Cheers.
Cheers.
Actually, we're getting a little bit close to the end of your interview, and I'm going to check if we have other planned questions for you, but we do have a question in the chat, and this is from Aggie, who was our best Ask Tamily question asker.
Okay.
She says, question, you can broadcast one sentence to every TV channel and radio in the world and have it translated to each country's language. What sentence do you want to say? She asks such deep questions.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Don't vote for Donald Trump. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that, because I'm not even involved in the American election. I didn't mean that. Well, I mean, I meant it, but no. Right. Oh, what a great question. I don't know, yeah, love your body, love yourself, love each other.
Oh, that's a good one.
I don't know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Wow. What a tough question, Aggie.
Really tough question. Yeah, I might change it if I have more time to think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, she asks very, very deep things. So I'm probably going to ask you something not deep at all after that. I don't think we asked, how do you feel immediately following a workout?
Oh, yeah. Usually feel a little wobbly. Very sweaty, need to have a shower.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably have to go. I'm probably in a hurry for something.
Right.
Or I'm almost late for something. Yeah. But then it's that sort of hour and a half after where I feel that amazing feeling. Yeah.
Definitely. Especially getting the workout done early in the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think you really get to enjoy that after glow or whatever you might call it.
Yeah.
Fit Mama Jama has another question, which is how many languages do you speak?
Well, I speak English and I speak Dutch.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm learning. I still have a long way to go, but I can now say I speak Dutch. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Super amazing to speak more than one. I think that we have asked all of our planned questions, and actually we have like 4 minutes left.
Okay.
So is there anything else you would like to say to the Tamily while you have this audience?
Yeah, so I'm working on this sort of database of women and Tamily members who are entrepreneurs, and it's a very simple spreadsheet. Actually, maybe it can evolve into more. But I'm basically just looking for female-owned Tamily members for whatever sector that you come from, and we're gonna make a database. So if you're like live in the Bay Area and you need a dermatologist, like why not be able to go on a list and then say, oh look, there's a woman who lives in, let's we're all thinking about San Francisco right now in that area. So there's someone who does the Tamily, and I need a dermatologist, or you need an psychologist or a coach. And so the idea is to make this sort of global database where no matter where you are in the world, you can find a professional, at least. Because I think, if I'm doing something every day and I see the results that it's done happen to me, then I would love to be able to like collaborate and work with someone who I know also has done that, or also is involved in that method. So it's like, maybe it won't work out, maybe that person won't be the right one, but at least you have a bit of a shared experience. And there's so many amazing, talented, like, whether you're doing apparel or skincare or both, or you're in coaching, mental health.
Yeah, that's such a great idea, especially because I think some of those things like collaborations and working together and enhancing Tamily-owned businesses has like happened kind of like organically, but that might be really cool to be able to proactively like check into something that you want, that I mean, especially with the thousands of us all over the world, all involved in different aspects of professions. That's a fantastic idea.
So anybody, if you're watching, you can just DM me with we're not taking any personal information. It would just be the company name and if you have a website, or even if you're just getting started, if you're a young photographer or something, I don't know, you don't have a lot of experience, like you can just get your name on this list and see where it goes.
Cool. Well, we'll have to post about that with your interview as well and let people know.
Okay, great.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Jessica, for being our 112th interview. This has been a super fun, very fast hour with you. But we really appreciate your openness and sharing with the Tamily.
Thank you. It's really great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great day, and this interview will be on the Ask Tamily page in a few minutes, and then it will be on YouTube forever and ever in a few days.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye bye, Tamily.